Today, I'm having a little painting session in my backyard, and you are all invited to join me. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Lauren. I am a full-time freelance artist, and today I'm going to be starting a new original painting. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and I am ready to try out some brand new mediums today, so hang around to see how it turns out. My creative vision is this side profile portrait overlaid with a lighthouse and some waves crashing on the rocks, some stormy, cloudy skies, and who knows, we'll see where it goes. This is actually my first time ever properly using alcohol inks, and I have watched other artists do it for literally years and always wanted to try my own hand at it, but I've just never gotten around to it, to be honest. And I can't lie, they look a lot easier than they actually are to use. But hey, new things take practice. It honestly just took getting the hang of it. I started off with small little portions, and then eventually I ended up kind of just throwing a lot more of the alcohol mixative onto the canvas and messing around and seeing what happened. I was using a blowing technique to kind of make the ink a little more translucent. I also bought something that allows me to blow a little bit easier, this little device, so that helped a lot during this painting. There's this technique I've seen where you sprinkle salt onto the paint, which you saw me doing there, and it kind of soaks up certain spots on the ink, and I thought it was a really cool effect, so I tried it in this painting. Now I'm layering on top of the alcohol inks with some acrylic ink as well as acrylic paint. These two mediums are much thicker and more opaque than the alcohol inks, so that's why I'm using them at a later stage. In my vision, I wanted the wave to be quite textured and almost give the illusion that it was coming towards the viewer. So I'm using a heavier bodied acrylic paint to get the effect of the textured waves, and building on the water spray coming from the rocks. Can you guys hear how lovely and loud the birds are in my backyard? We're really close to this lake, and it's like a sanctuary for so many birds. I'm obsessed. It kind of drives my boyfriend nuts because we wake up to them chirping at all hours, but I honestly love it. I find it so peaceful. I tend to use a hard bristled fan brush when I'm doing the spray, and I dilute the white paint quite a bit with water to give it more of a translucent effect. Okay, how amazing is my break spot? I'm obsessed with my hammock. I spend way too much time in it, to be totally honest, but it's lovely when I get to paint outside, and then whenever my back's hurting, I can just take 5 and lie in the hammock and drift off a little bit. It's days like these that make me so grateful to have such a beautiful backyard that I can spend time in and actually do work in. How lucky am I? My issue is now I really want to add a dark sky. Like, there's this little inner demon inside me that's like, yeah, I know you love your painting where it's at, but what if you just threw black paint on it? So I'm thinking I might just give it a go, because this is how breakthroughs happen. I know that. It just sucks when I think I have like an amazing idea and then I go to actually execute it and it ruins the piece. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time. At least I have proof that it was good at one point if I do ruin it as well. I don't know why it always gives me so much anxiety when I decide to change the plan that I originally had. And it's funny because honestly, I do this pretty much every single time I'm creating something out of my imagination. And then I have to second guess and ask myself, like, what actually am I fearing? And my instinct is to say wasted time, but in reality, it's not at all wasted because I enjoy every second that I'm painting, genuinely. I actually think it's kind of sad that like capitalism is so ingrained in my head that spending time and energy doing something that isn't going to be profitable or have some kind of return feels redundant or like a waste. I'm happy that I'm aware of it, but I'm heartbroken that the thoughts are even there in the first place. Like, this is my passion, this is what lights me up inside, yet the fear of ruining it and wasting, quote unquote, my time is enough to make me stop and not even take the risks that I want to take in my art sometimes. My issue also is that I tend to get carried away with my paintings when I do open that floodgate, and I often end up with like a maximalist style painting, and that doesn't feel like that's authentically my taste, or at least that's not what I'm going for whenever I start paintings, but that is often what I end up getting. So I don't know, maybe that's something deep down what my soul needs to be poured out on canvas. I felt like this area of the painting needed a little bit more interest, and I love the effect of the alcohol inks layered on top of one another. So that's what you see me doing here. And then my favorite part, as always, adding silver foil leaf. How pretty was that? That kind of reminded me of snow. I wanted to make the moon this metallic color. I have used gold leaf a million times, but I've never used silver leaf. I have no idea why, because I actually prefer silver to gold, but in this, with all the turquoises and the blues, I thought silver paired really well with it. And now I am adding some final touches, the stars, which I like to blend out to give it the illusion that the light is kind of emanating from the center, and then really, really bright dollops of paint in the very center of those little circles. And I'm using white acrylic paint here. You can see it's thicker than all of the layers beneath it. All in all, I'm actually really, really proud of how this one turned out. I ended up calling it Guiding Light. The original is now available on my shop if you're interested. And thank you so much for watching the process. I'll see you next time.